Speak Up Africa is a digital platform that creates space for digital conversations to be made, specifically from end-to-end usage, from the users of the technological spaces, to the producers of it, to the creators, to the innovators, to the labor rights, to the policy increments, to governance, and all other technological dimensions. This is Speak Up Africa. I am Zaha Speaks. We inform, engage, and empower.
Welcome to this week's episode on Speak Up Africa, where we aim to inform, engage, and empower by Wendy Loyce. And in the theme of leadership and governance that I have been tackling today, I have Mr.
Kevin
Njuguna, who is an aspiring presidential candidate at Railway Training Institute, and Mr.
Ongore
Odembo, who is the outgoing presidential he was the president at Railway Training Institute. Now, this week we want to tackle a very sensitive issue, succession of power. You know, power is given and not taken has been a phrase that has been used commonly by very many people, right? But ideally, this was brought about to sensitize people to be more proactive when they want to occupy spaces of power and leadership and governance, you know. Yeah. But if we scale it down to African nations, we have totally made this look like if you really want to get to positions of power, you have to fight for it. And we have seen, like in past general elections, we have had seasons where there's been so much loss of life, destruction of property. And this has had a ripple effect in generations that have come after that. And some of us are still feeling the pinch and the pain of that. But on the flip side of it, people also say a successful leader is the one who grooms their successor. And what better way to bring this into perspective than having you, who is the outgoing president, and Njuguna, who is the aspiring presidential candidate. So let me dive into this and ask, Mr. Odembo,
yes,
you're living power. You've been in this. You've really enjoyed it. It has come with its fair share of challenges, but I believe this has been a season that has built you. How have you prepared yourself to get a successor to take back your position and you moving out? How have you prepared yourself for this?
First of all, allow me to say thank you for giving this chance in this broadcast. If you want to do a smooth succession of power, I think one, you should have someone that you have mentored. If you mentor him, you have no query to be questioned about how you are going to bring a good successor because you know the history behind him and you know him at an individual level. Number two, you communicate openly. You say, this is the guy and I feel he's the right one to take RJ to the next level. Thirdly, you should provide inclusivity and transparency about the leadership skills that have been there. If I weigh the two or the three or any aspirant that is a candidate in the presidential seat, I see power in him.
Great. I don't know, is it your first time taking up a political seat in your school level?
Yeah, it's not my first time, let me say. I was an aspirant 2 years ago. But I lost, unfortunately. But so I kind of have experience in campaigns. But again, I have interacted with Mr. Odembo, so I know what it takes to be there. I know what he has done when he was there. Yeah.
Okay, let me bring this perspective. In the greater scheme of things, in African nations especially, we have seen such a big struggle with leaders having to leave powerful seats, you know. It's always a struggle for them to, you know, leave office and give room for somebody else to come. Njuguna, what do you think are some of the factors that make these leaders want to hold on to those seats of power and influence?
Let me say, these leaders, they hold on to power to protect what they have. Yeah, and to grow themselves. So personally, let me say, I am striving for this so that I can protect what I have in our institution. I can protect my name so that also I can as well grow myself. Yeah.
Okay. I like the angle you bring it because they want to protect what they have, right? Mr. Dembo, I think we have seen the uproar that Gen Z's brought mid to end of last year. We had Anguka Nayo, guys went on for maandamano, and we were calling out these leaders for simple things. We wanted transparency, we wanted accountability, and he brings the perspective of these guys are there to protect what they have. Then it begs the question, if you don't want to leave this position to protect what you have, is it because you acquired it through backdoor? What do you think about that?
Thank you very much for that question. There's a situation that may come that you will acquire power through backdoor.
Okay.
Then there's a way that you can be voted in as a transparent leader. Therefore, once you get to the leadership, there's one or two things you will do. Therefore, you will acquire that seat and try to hold it back because there's some sensitive things that you are holding back, not to be so transparent to the public.
Okay. So what at your own capacity, right? You've mentioned transparency, you've mentioned accountability and communication. Njoroge, when you get into power, right? It's something you went in the first time at a different position, you failed.
Yeah.
Hopefully you come in and succeed this time, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you think you're gonna involve yourself with and make you prepare adequately so that when time comes, you're also willing to pass on the baton to the successor who will be aspiring to take up your role?
Let me say, I will work. I will work for the students because I am an aspirant, a student leader, you see. So I will work. I will ensure that I train others and I show them the way to follow. Yeah, so I think when that time comes, I will have a great person, an experienced person. Yeah.
Okay. Just to throw a tweak in it, we've seen very good people who've gone into, let me now talk about national politics, right? Because I believe good leadership and governance is the backbone to the success of every economic and political aspect of a nation. If you don't have good leadership and governance, then that's it, you're doomed, right? So we've seen very good individuals get into politics. We've seen our members of parliament, we've seen our women representative who ideally stood for the right things, advocated for good things and change and talked about transparency and accountability. But once you get into those offices, something happens. Now they're driving, now they're building. As youthful leaders, I'll start with you, Mr. Dembo. What do you think sets you apart? Why will you not succumb to this pressure?
I don't think it's a pressure. According to it, it's a pressure.
Okay.
It's not a pressure to me. Once I get to power, in case I become a member of parliament, then I'll do the promised, first of all, to gather the ground.
Okay.
Two, I'll be very loyal to the party that I used to get to that power, so that the next time I can climb the ladder for the next positions. This thing of saying that, what will you do? It is a matter of ideologies that you will send to the citizens so that you can get the votes. If you come with a bad idea, we'll chase you back home. If you don't, you get to power.
Okay.
Then you become a leader.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Njoroge,
Yeah.
what do you have to... What do you think are some of your personal traits that set you apart from all these, let me just call it that happens to politicians and changes? Right now you're looking so good, calm, collect, very humble, But once you get inside there, manze, kiburi, my guy, kiburi on another level. So what do you think as an individual makes you stand out as a young leader, that you will not succumb again to what Mr. Demo says is not pressure, but I believe is pressure to succumb or conform to the ways of African political leaders?
Money is powerful.
True.
Yeah. So, if you have not touched a lot of money, you will have pride. Yeah. So, basically, I think some of these national leaders, what they do, when they touch a lot of money, wanakuja wanatuletea kiburi, they think wamefika pale, you see. So that is what we as Gen Zs, we don't want. Yeah.
And you guys are in great spaces of influence, as leaders at institutions. And it all starts at grassroots levels. And for me, these are grassroots levels that we should be looking at, And there's a big sensation still going on right now that young people can change the narrative and young people can bring a difference to the nation. And it had a ripple effect to the world at large if you saw that. So in your own capacity, what are the things that you can highlight, Mr. Odembo Njoroge, that you can highlight and say, as young people, if we decide to change the narrative and focus on 1 to 3 things, I just want us to tackle 1 to 3 things that come top of your mind, that if we do this, therefore, the system will change and we are the change we want to see. When we tackle these things, then succession of power becomes easier. And when we change the narrative now, it will have a ripple effect on the generations to come. So as leaders, as individuals, as we sit here and debunk and get involved in this conversation, what are the 3 things that we are looking at that can help us moving forward, change the narrative and the conversations?
The 3 things. 1, the development of infrastructure. 2, I think the only problem that Kenyans have, most of the youth's job opportunities. Every year, I think there's a lot of institutions within our countries. They do graduate yearly, the institutes. At, let me say, timely, they produce candidates that have been trained in different capacities. It is about job opportunities. Therefore, we should bring in industries. We bring more internationalization within the country so that we can absorb the students that have graduated in different capacities of training so that they don't become jobless. They only participate in such because, let me say, they're idle. Once they're engaged in everything, they will be busy.
Wait, Mr. Odembo, let me ask you. We really went to the streets because we were demanding for accountability. There's an element that the rowdiness came in because now we had more chaff in the maize, right? Mm-hmm. But ideally, the reason why we went to the streets is we are now more enlightened, we are now more empowered, and we are asking for accountability and transparency. Mm-hmm. Does that really mean that we are jobless as young people?
Okay, the problem was there's a matter of taxation. You see yourself, you're being taxed, then you don't have a job opportunity. Okay. If you have somewhere to work in, then you are generating something, you will not fail to pay tax. Therefore, somebody is requesting for tax, then you don't know where to generate the tax from. Therefore, you are jobless. That's why you get so angry, so that you can go to the city to protect taxation, so that they can relieve you from the burden that you cannot carry.
Yeah. Okay, Njoroge, so what stands out for you? What do you think Gen Zs, apart from kuanguka nayo, apart from kuandamana, that we can put in play that will make us stand out even for generations to come?
Yeah, ile kitu nafikiria tunaweza change sisi kama majenzi. Odembo has said that the reason why we had come out to the streets, it's because of taxes. Most of us, we are jobless. We don't have jobs. So we ask our parents for cash or for money, for our own upkeeps. So basically, unaenda kuuliza mzazi, hi mom or hi dad, zanisaidia pesa ya hii na hii. Nasikia amekwambia, I can't afford that. Tunalipa tax mingi sana. We have mortgages, we have sijui what and what, this shisha, these things. So, and we were like, hey bwana, hakuna jobs. Sasa kama huna jobs, inabidi unaweza itisha mzazi, you see? So we were fighting for joblessness. We were fighting for our parents. We were fighting for our nation. And with that, tunaona tu our country ni kama inaingia chini ya maji, yeah? Country inaisha manze. These people, I think these people are destroying our country. And then ukienda pale kwa maofisi zao, wanaleta kiburi. I don't know why they change. Because when they approach us, when they come to us, kuomba kura, wanakuja wanatuambia, madhani yagosho. Yeah, they speak very good and nice words to us, hadi tunawapenda, and then we vote them in.
Okay.
But yes.
Hold on to that thought.
Yeah.
You also are an aspiring presidential candidate, right?
Yeah.
Which means in your own rights, you're a leader.
Yes.
And we're talking about a system that we think is almost collapsing. I don't know, Mr. Odembo, if you have any political aspirations, like to now get into national level, right?
Yeah.
So we, on one side, we are saying the system is failing, right? And on the other side, we want to be the successors of some of these political leaders. Is there any fear that we are gonna inherit or take up political spaces that have already been corrupt, that there is nothing else that we can do for it? Because what Mr. Njoroge says is the system is failing. Enyewe system inaingia chini ya maji, right? But if I look at us, we are the change we want. We are the change that we need to see. But if we do not have faith in this system, that it has kunywa maji already, is there any hope that we are gonna be successors who are gonna bring change? Do you think you're gonna bring any change? Maybe from where Odembo has left off. Let's talk about now a smaller scale of things at RTI, right? He's left. And maybe he's left you a cabinet that is so corrupt, the system is failing, exams are never being done in the institution, and yet you're gonna be his successor, right?
Yeah.
Is there any fear that now the system is so bad that you're just gonna go in and serve your term and leave? Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Do you have any fear that you're gonna take from him a system that is beyond repair?
Sure, I have that fear.
So, Mr. Odembo, you failed the system.
I have. I can say this. Allow me comment on that because I'm the still one in the opposition.
Okay.
I can say this. I'm the current president that found a rotten government ever since in an institute.
Okay.
I tried to stabilize things. That's why I don't want to leave the institute in a drowning hand. That's why I'm getting a serious successor that can pull up from where I've left it from.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mm-hmm.
You know, Mr. Odembo, when he left the government, he left his SG to run the government. So I feel like his SG didn't do anything. You see, that's why I'm saying I have that fear. Yeah. But let me say that all this fear, it's because of the national challenges we have with our country. Because like currently our school fees has been increased. I don't know, 0 services added. Yeah.
True.
So I don't understand what is happening in that institution. So basically, this is because of our country. Yeah. It's not even about the institution. That's why and now when I get into power or when I assume to power, I will have to go to work in these offices, some of these offices, the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Transport, because our institute it's under the Ministry of Roads and Transport.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So what if I go there and then wanakuonyesha kiburi? Yeah. I can't change the institute kama sijaenda kwa wakubwa.
Yeah.
Niwaambie the challenges that we are facing. And then in our institution, we have a management. Something is happening in that institute. Yeah? So, and I can't fire them. Whom can I report to? The wakubwa. What if I go to the MD of Kenya Railways? What will he tell me? Yeah? So these are some of the fears that we have. And that is why I said kiburi si poa. Yeah.
Okay. You've talked about challenges, and I want to dive into that in this angle. So the national government has challenges, and clearly these challenges are trickling down to different institutions. In passing, we are going to mention about social health insurance fund, which now we are battling between SHA and SHIF. And now for your institution as a railway training institution, so the management at national level has trickled down problems and challenges to even the institutional level. So when it comes to succession of power, right, what are some of the challenges that can come to play that will make this transition not so smooth? Not between the two of you necessarily as an outgoing and incoming candidate, but on a grand scale of things, what are some of the challenges that can make this succession process not be smooth?
Allow me comment. There's something known as power struggles. There's cultural differences. I think there's a big leadership gaps. The way somebody want to rule is not the way you want to rule. So let me say, in my own perspective, in my institute, let me call it's my institute. My tribe is Lu. I come from Nyanza region. When I was getting to power, I had a big number of my tribe voting me into power. And as from now, the way I've been openly to the public and the way I want to do my things to succeed, my role model here today, they are seeing that I'm kicking the bucket of them. But me, I'm looking at a prosperity of the future of the institute. Therefore, I rather go and sell my ideologies to them rather than selling the physical idea and where I come from. I sell the ideas of making the institute to another level.
But so, okay. What I pick from that, there's an element of tribalism, which has been a great challenge, right, in our nation.
Yeah.
And actually, clearly, I hadn't really thought about it, but it's Mr. Odembo giving his successor, Mr. Njoroge,
To Mr. Njuguna,
Mr.
sorry.
Njuguna,
Yeah.
sorry, the baton to continue with that. At your institutional level, has that really been a problem for you, let me say?
Oh, a very big problem, actually.
So we haven't dealt with tribalism at all.
No, bado. You know, wase wengi wanasema majenzi sijui si
We are
matribalist.
tribalist, we are
Yeah.
leaderless.
But let me tell you, manze, hey, okay, I am Njuguna, I am a Kikuyu, Odembo,
Ms. Luo.
Aluo. So now when he endorsed me, some of his tribesmen wakaleta story mingi sijui yo wewe unaruka kabila yetu, sisi tunataka Wajaluo. And by the way, numbers don't lie. In that institute, Luos are many than other tribes. So if you ukibeba Wajaluo,
you're gonna win it with the landslide.
yeah, definitely. That's why I have been struggling with this. Many of the leaders in that institute, they have been Luos. I'm the only Kikuyu who is struggling to make sure that hii mambo ya tribal, sijui Wajaluo, Wakikuyu, sijui Wakamba, imeisha. Yeah.
So what made the two of you a good match? You know, because you're talking about succession of power, and yet the challenges that can come with this succession is tribalism. But what made the two of you overcome such a big challenge and decide we are going to do this either way?
Okay, it's a simple question to me.
Okay.
Because all of us want success. And we want to get the institute from where it is to another level.
Correct.
You don't bring your tribe because you want to make him happy. You're going to make the school drown. We are there to hunt for votes, hunt for that position, get to that power, lobby funds for students, merchandise the school so that the students can grow, the institute can grow to another level. We don't look at about such a person vying for a post, it's making him happy because I'm a good successor, because that's not the case.
And Mr. Njuguna, you had no fear whatsoever that your role model is Luo and he's gonna give you the baton to carry on?
I usually say strategies work. If you have good strategies, they will work. For example, in 2022, when the current president, His Excellency William Ruto, was campaigning, he comes from a different tribe. He's a Kalenjin. But look at what happened. Kikuyus voted for him. Yeah? So I believe they can also do the same.
They can be a change
Yeah,
at your
they can
institution.
change. Yeah.
All right. I think we've delved into quite a couple of things, and this is just a tip of the iceberg. And we at Speak Up encourage young people to come and have conversations that are thought-provoking, conversations that are empowering and are informing. And I'm sure this is just the first that I have hosted you. We are going to have many, many more.
Okay.
Mr. Odembo, I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. I would love to see you at national level engaging in politics that will transform this nation and make this nation a better place for us, that we can reduce the time between maandamano and kuanguka nayo, have jobs and do much more. And for Njuguna, truly, I wish you all the very best as you go in for your general elections.
Yeah.
May you be a transformational leader. And probably just before I wrap it up, I'm going to give you 30 seconds to just give a parting shot to your comrades who are watching, and what you'd want to tell them if you assume office, what you're going to do for them, because you've seen the challenges. And Mr. Odembo, you can finish by telling them how grateful you are probably for the support they've given you, and then we wrap it up.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'd like to tell my comrades that let us vote for a person who can lobby funds to help our institute. And that person is me. And that is why Odembo chose me as his successor, definitely. So, guys, vote for Team Njuguna, vote for Njuguna, vote for the comrades' voice. I will speak it up to you. I will deliver your grievances, not only to the administration, but to higher levels, the HQ, the ministries of transport and education. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Mr. Odembo.
Thank you very much. Let me take this great chance once again to tell my comrades who voted me into the position of presidency. As I'm the outgoing president, I think I've implemented 85% of my manifesto.
Good job.
Although others are long-term manifestos, they will take time, they will come bit by bit. And once again, let me say, nimewatolea kofia. You gave me to have a brand, and I have a title because of them. To crown it all, here is my successor. Let's leave tribalistic. Let's take RTA to the next level. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us here at Speak Up. We have had a conversation that has been one in a million, very rare, where you're getting somebody who is respectfully coming out of a position of power and has come out with a successor who he has groomed and believes in his potential to take on the baton and pass on the regime of greatness and success. That was Mr. Odembo and Mr. Njuguna from Railway Training Institute. Thank you so much for joining us. We at Speak Up encourage thought-provoking conversations, and we are going to have more and more of this. I have been your host, Wendy Loyce. Thank you so much for today. Until next time, Baraka. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Speak Up Africa is a digital platform that creates space for digital conversations to be made, specifically from end-to-end usage, from the users of the technological spaces, to the producers of it, to the creators, to the innovators, to the labor rights, to the policy increments, to governance, and all other technological dimensions. This is Speak Up Africa. I am Zaha Speaks. We inform, engage, and empower.